Level 1, negative balance. The number on your screen has a minus sign in front of it. You stare at it like it might fix itself. If you blink, it doesn't. You overdrafted by $6, just $6. A coffee subscription you forgot to cancel. The bank doesn't care that it was $6. The bank cares about the math, and the math says you went under. $34. That's the fee. The penalty for being short is that you become shorter. The fee is bigger than the mistake. You stare at it and feel something that isn't anger, just tired. Then another charge processes a streaming app you forgot existed. The system sees you're already negative and charges you another $34. Now you owe $74 to a bank that just took $34 from a $6 mistake. You call. The whole music loops twice. A voice answers, reads from a script, tells you fees can't be reversed at this time. You ask for a manager. The voice says someone will follow up within 48 hours. Nobody follows up. Your rent auto pay fails the next morning. The landlord adds a $60 late fee. Your phone bill bounces and adds $20 more. The math you couldn't fix at $6 is now $154 deep and moving in directions you didn't authorize. You skip the lunch you usually grab with your coworker. You say you already ate. You didn't. Hunger at this level isn't physical. It's quiet. It's the kind nobody sees because you've gotten good at performing fine. You walk into the branch on Friday and the teller's face changes the second she reads your account. Not anger, not pity, something colder. You stop being a person on her screen and start being a flag, a category, a risk score with a name attached. You leave without saying what you came to say. Somewhere between the $6 and the unreturned call and the failed rent payment, you stopped feeling like a customer. You started feeling like a problem the bank was managing, not a person the bank was serving. And the worst part is how ordinary it all feels by the third time it happens. The shame stops arriving like an event and starts arriving like weather, something you just live under now. Level 2, $500. You're not negative anymore. You pulled it back working a Saturday shift you didn't want. Nobody clapped. Nobody noticed. The bank notices, but not kindly. The maintenance fee hits anyway, $11, quietly withdrawn. The minimum to avoid it is $1,500. You don't have $1,500. So the fee stays. You're paying a bank to hold the little money you have. You apply for a credit card. They offer you a secured one. Give them $300 of your own money so they can lend it back to you at 26% interest. You read the offer twice. They want collateral from you to extend you credit out of your own pocket. You don't take it, which means when your alternator dies on a Tuesday, you can't put it on plastic. You borrow your sister's car for a week and say nothing about why. You walk into the branch to ask about the fee. The teller is laughing with the customer ahead of you, asking about their weekend. When you step up, the smile resets into something professional, trained. She processes your request in 40 seconds, doesn't ask if there's anything else. The next person walks up and the warmth comes right back. You weren't refused. You weren't insulted. You were moved through like cargo on a belt. The bank doesn't see you as a customer at $500. The bank doesn't see you at all. You exist on their books. You don't exist in their attention. You don't know it yet, but the next bracket changes something you can't undo back down. Level 3, $5,000. Something shifts, not in your account, in the way the bank looks at you. Your direct deposit hits every 2 weeks, $1,750 after taxes, consistent, predictable. The pattern you've held for 5 months is the only thing about you that interests the system. The maintenance fee disappears, not because you asked. The system saw a steady direct deposit and waived it automatically. You check 3 times to make sure it's real. The same fee that drained you for over a year just stops existing. Nothing about you changed. Your behavior matched a profile the bank can profit from, so they let you keep what's yours. The credit offers start arriving, real ones this time, not secured, an actual card with a $3,000 limit and 21% interest. The same bank that wouldn't approve you 8 months ago now mails you an envelope with your name printed in metallic ink, pre-approved, like you became someone else overnight. You apply. Approved in 90 seconds. You walk into the branch and the teller says good morning before you reach the counter. Not the warmth she gives the comfortable customer, not the silence she gave you at $500 either. Something in between, recognition without effort. You apply for a small loan, $2,000 for the alternator you never replaced, approved in 2 days at 13%. Not great, not terrible. The bank doesn't care who you are. The bank cares what your account looks like. And at $5,000, your account looks like something worth selling to. You're not invisible anymore. You're not respected either. You're profitable. And profitable, it turns out, is the first rung on a ladder you didn't know you were already climbing. Level 4, $25,000. You log into the app and notice the credit limit changed. $3,000 became $8,000. You didn't ask. The bank just decided you were worth more rope. The next morning, you get a call. Not automated, a person. The bank assigned you a relationship banker. He says his name twice and gives you a direct line. He asks about your goals, your timeline, your 5-year plan. He wants to schedule 15 minutes. The same institution that put you on hold for 40 minutes at $500 just dialed your number first thing on a Tuesday. A fee shows up on your statement, $28. You email your banker. 2 hours later, it's reversed. No form, no phone tree, no script, just a reply that says taken care of. The fees that drained you for years are optional now. The system didn't change. Your tier did. You start getting emails with your name spelled right, subject lines with your first name in them, small touches you didn't ask for. The bank is courting you now, not aggressively, subtly, the way someone treats a person they don't want to lose. You realize something hidden from you at every level below this one. The bank wasn't cruel to you when you had nothing. The bank was just indifferent. And indifference at scale looks exactly like cruelty from the inside of it. Here's what's happening on the other side of the counter, the part nobody at level 1 ever gets to see. Inside the branch, your file gets a flag the tellers can read but never say out loud. A number that tells them how much friction you're worth absorbing. At $500, that number told them not to bother. At $25,000, it tells them to bother quite a lot. Nobody trained them to be kinder. They were trained to protect what's profitable. You just became profitable enough to protect. Level 5, $100,000, 6 figures sitting in accounts that used to overdraft over a coffee charge. The bank calls you a preferred client now. The word shows up on your statements, on the welcome screen when you log in, on the email signature of the woman who handles your account. You didn't earn the title, the number did. Your relationship banker becomes a real person now, someone named Priya, who remembers you mentioned a sister in Austin 9 months ago. She emails on your birthday, not automated, written. The detail isn't an accident, it's training. The bank teaches her to remember small things because small things keep accounts. You walk into the branch and someone stands up to greet you, not the teller, someone with a nameplate in an office. They guide you past the rope line everyone else waits in, the same line you didn't know existed because you used to be standing inside it. A pre-approval letter arrives in the mail, not for a credit card, for a $350,000 mortgage. The bank decided what you could afford before you decided to buy anything. The price of money stops being something you negotiate. It becomes something offered to you first. A competitor bank calls and offers to beat your savings rate. You mention it to Priya. She calls back within the hour with a counter offer. The institution that ignored you for years is now competing to keep you. You're not preferred at $100,000 because you're impressive. You're preferred because you're worth defending. You don't know it yet. But the next number isn't just bigger. It's the one that makes the bank stop waiting for you to come to them. Level 6, $400,000. The bank stops being a place you visit. It becomes a service that comes to you. Priya doesn't email anymore. Priya calls. And when she calls, she isn't asking how you are. She's asking when you'd like to meet her colleague who handles wealth planning. The colleague drives to your office, not the other way around. He brings printed reports in a leather folder. He asks about your timeline, your tax exposure, what retirement looks like for you specifically. The conversation runs 90 minutes, and at the end, he doesn't try to sell you anything. He already did. You just didn't notice it happening. You call about a transfer that's stuck. Someone answers on the second ring, no hold music, no script. The problem gets fixed in the same call. The same issue would have taken 3 hours and 4 transfers at $500. You're invited to a small dinner. The bank hosts 6 clients, a guest speaker, a view of the city from an angle you've never seen it from. Nobody mentions money the entire night. Money is the room, not the topic. You're not a customer at $400,000. You're an asset the bank actively protects. Level 7, $1 million, the first million, the number that used to live only in conversations about other people. It pays nothing on its own yet. It just changes how every conversation starts. You don't apply for a private banker. One is assigned without you asking. He manages a small list of accounts, and yours is now one of them. He knows your kid's school because you mentioned it once over coffee in passing. The rate on your next loan isn't published anywhere. It's negotiated in a single phone call, drafted around your timeline instead of a rate sheet. The paperwork that takes a regular customer 2 weeks gets handled in 2 days because someone upstream was told whose account it is. You walk into a branch you've never visited before and they already know your name before you've signed a single form. The system flagged you across every location the bank owns. Not because you're famous, because of where you now sit on a list most customers never know exists. You sit in a small room with no logo on the door while someone walks you through an investment that will never appear on any public brochure. The room exists because clients like you exist. It only opens when the relationship justifies opening it. This is not the top. This is the door. Everything past this point, the bank bending its own rules, the deals built around one name, the institution asking your opinion instead of selling you a product, that world starts here and keeps climbing far past what most people will ever see. But you can already feel the air change. You can already feel the difference between being served and being protected. You think about the coworker you used to grab lunch with at level 1, the one still living at $500, still paying the maintenance fee, still calling the branch and getting the hold music. You haven't told him the number. You don't know how to say it without it sounding like an accusation, even though it was never about him. He's not unlucky. He's not lazy. He's just standing exactly where you stood in a system built to read his risk before it reads his character. You think about saying something the next time you see him, you probably won't. Some gaps don't close in a conversation. They close in a decade quietly, the same way yours did. Somewhere right now, someone has a minus sign in front of their balance. They overdrafted by $6. A subscription they forgot was still charging. The fee hits within the hour, $34. They stare at the screen and feel something that isn't anger, just tired. They call, the whole music loops. A voice answers, reads from a script, tells them fees can't be reversed. At this time, they don't know yet that the system isn't broken. The system is working exactly the way it was built to. The same kind of institution that will one day fly someone out to ask their opinion on a deal is right now charging this person for not having enough. You were that person once. The bank didn't change when you did. The bank simply revealed what it had always been, waiting the entire time to see which version of you would show up first.